you say that their members are fine,
Yes.
and we can start.
Yes. Just we'll wait for a minute or so. I think we have 52 participants, so we'll
No problem.
wait for a minute.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, a warm welcome from Triple FA, and this is one of the, I would say, a very landmark interaction that we are having with the NLDS. All, welcome Mr. Abhishek Chaudhary, Mr. Hiro Ushima, Mr. Mukul Shinde. We have this Chairman Mr. Hinkar Shinde, immediate past Chairman Mr. Vijay Kumar, Vice Chairman Mr. S. Nataraja. We have Mr. Ashish Sonbarse. So here we go as far as the today's webinar is concerned. A warm welcome to the panelists. Integration of Unified Logistic Interface Platform ULIP with Triple FA is the theme today, where we'll be discussing variety of subjects for this platform which will be taking ahead. The most important aspect is that this portal will be integrating core of activity and digitization, taking digitization to its logical end is to be the, whether it is container tracking, creating logistic data bank, understanding recent trends and emerging requirements in EXIM logistics, getting CFS and ICD infrastructure better utilized for benefit of trade with digital technicalities, getting procedures and abandonment detained containers, how to deal with them, and finally cargo regulation inspection procedures would be discussed today. We have with us two speakers for the evening. Mr. Ichiro Oshima, he is the Associate Vice President of NEC Corporation India Private Limited. He is Director NLDSL. Mr. Oshima had graduated as Bachelor of Business Administration from Central University in the year March 1991. He has vast experience in enterprise global in which he managed and led global business development teams. He has rich experience in ICT solutions for enterprise industry at NEC headquarters, and his present assignment, he is working as a qualified IT professional for Information Processing Society of Japan. His extensive know-how in technical and administrative projects and coordinates with NEC headquarters for various products and services. Being one of the NICC logistic data services, he is planning to provide various logistic ICT solution, keeping in mind the development of India's supply chain market. The profiling that we have today is Mr. Abhishek Chaudhary. He is Vice President, Corporate Affairs and Company Secretary to Delhi Metro. It is National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation Limited. Also was Delhi Metro, Mumbai Industrial Corridor. So he is having a very vast experience, and He's a fellow member of Institute of Company Secretaries in India and a law graduate. He has worked in different domains with various multinational companies for past 18 years. His wide experience in field of secretarial and legal matters, project financing, private-public partnership projects, corporate governance, and exposure of dealing with various government department organizations. He is associated with NICDC for nearly 12 years since its inception and have contributed to in structuring the project to reach the level of implementation. He is the main architect of PM Gati Shakti. Now, this is one of the most important flagship project of our Honorable Prime Minister and National Master Plan converging data across 16 line ministries involved in infrastructure development and setting up of economic zones. PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for multimodal connectivity is aimed at synchronizing the existing initiatives of various ministries for reducing India's logistics cost. He has also been nominated as a director on behalf of Government of India in the following companies: Dholera Industrial City Development, Aurangabad Industrial Township, DMIC Integrated Township near Greater Noida, and scores of others. In the past, he has been member of subcommittee of development of AIMS, member of project management unit of Niti Aayog, and member of technical committee. Very prolific one. So, without taking much of your time, I would request our chairman, Shankar Shinde, to kindly take over and set the tone, ball rolling for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dushan Mulani, our chairman-elect. A very warm welcome to Shri Abhishek ji and Mr. Oshima. It's a pleasure to have you here on this forum. As a FAI is the apex body of logistics service provider and licensed customer developers. With the 28 associations we member, 7,000 members we would be serviced from this platform across the country. And this is the forum where we have the members who are having the international exposure, who are into regular international logistics service providers. Sir, I would like to really congratulate you on this initiative which has been taken. It's a long way to go. And the way it has been integrated, we have been working in silos in different areas. We have every individual sector taking individual development, but this is what was a requirement. We really, as an India, feel on the database of logistics. That's the compilation of really what is happening and where the logistic cost is going and what are the reasons to it. And I think so such type of developments for integrating the whole logistics under one platform, a common platform, would really help us to give the reasons as to where we can really work upon together to bring down the cost of logistics and integrate the whole system to have that database also within us. I think so you have been working, doing a really a great job by having this rail, road transportation. And surely we'll also look forward to have the postal services also on this platform. With this, without taking more time, I would really like to thank you and take this webinar forward. Thanks to my office bearers and the members who have been the part of this webinar to hear you a lot. And later on, surely we'll have a question answer session. If there is something which we cannot address online or here, we'll be happy to submit our presentation to you directly to your office. With this, I would like to open up the webinar for further discussion. Over to Dushan. Yeah, Mr. Dushan Mulani. Otherwise, we can go for the presentation. Mr. Oshima would be presenting or Mr. Sri Abhishek ji will be presenting?
So this is, sorry, please.
Yeah, Mr. Oshima would be presenting.
Yes, so my name is Ichi. Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you for introducing my journey. So when I came to India, 2017 July, so I had the 4-year plus had an experience to logistics sector to contribute is India improving India logistics sector. So today, good evening again. So all members, thank you so much. So giving the opportunity to address is some speech. So today my theme is so today's forum is tema integration of unified logistics interface platform, ULIP, with FFAI. So, and also this is with reference to the caption subject I mentioned on this matter. So NITI-IO has launched an initiative called Unified Logistics Interface Platform to enhance efficiency and reduce logistics cost by creating a transparent platform in India that provides information to all stakeholders and removes asymmetries in information. It is pertinent to mention that ULIP project is an integral part of the vision of technology commons for leveraging technology in specific identified priority areas toward achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat. It means Ireland, so independent India, defined by government of India. Now, so NICDC has been mandated by NITI-IO to execute the ULIP project, considering the work done, achievement, and coverage of its flagship project, Logistics Data Bank, LDB, which is a part of NLDSL, NICDC Logistics Data Service Limited. So this is a very, very happy to in this forum. So I'm also overwhelmed to welcome our keynote speaker, Shri Abhishek Chowdhury. Thank you so much. Over to you, Abhishek-san.
Thank you, Oshima-san, Mr. Shankar Shinde, Mr. Dushyant Mulani, and all the members of Federation of Freight Forward Association of India. Very warm good afternoon from NICDC and very warm good afternoon from my side for giving us an opportunity to make a presentation to all the distinguished personalities involved into the logistic trade about what we are doing as part of the Logistic Data Bank project and what to give you an insight about Government of India's vision for developing this unified logistics interface platform. So it is an absolute honor and privilege on my part to be a part of this august gathering and be in a position to explain it to you what exactly the ULIP aims at. And with your support and cooperation, I'm hopeful that collectively we've been in a position to bring down our logistic cost, make India cost competitive, and to increase the overall trade in the country. So I'll request my colleague Merin to kindly plug onto the slides. I think you need to allow us to share the presentation. As of now, as per the rules set, the host has disabled the participant screen sharing. Once you allow us, then we'll be able to share the screen.
Sagar, can you?
Yes, sir, they are already this panelists, so they can share it. But anyway, I've given them co-host permission.
Yeah, please give it.
Yeah, I've given, sir. So Abhishek, are you able to use the screen sharing?
Yes. Is my presentation visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Make it full screen. Okay. So I'll just take you through the journey of Logistic Data Bank project. I think most of the people in this forum must be aware about the LDB project, or in some way or the other must be utilizing the data and the information available as part of LDB project. Then I will graduate to the Unified Logistic Interface Platform, the work already done, and with the support of all the members of the associations, how this platform can be further leveraged and can be made advantageous to every user that I'll throw light on. So Logistic Data Bank project is a nationwide single window cloud-based logistic visualization solution, providing visibility about the track and trace of the EXIM containers. We are using RFID as a technology, and providing near to real-time tracking at various ports, ICDs, CFSs, and the toll plazas by way of putting up the RFID readers at these locations. There is an integration which has already been taken place with the port community system, voice system of the railways, and the terminal operating system of the different ports. We are also providing the analytical insights about the best and the worst performing ports, CFS and ICD. And this data has been made public through LTV analytics report on a monthly basis, and it is being shared with all the stakeholder concerned. This analytical report is also available on the website, and anybody can view and review it. And it is properly backed by the data and by the analytics, which has been developed on the basis of the artificial intelligence and the machine learning engines working at the backend. It also contributes to the logistic performance index and the ease of doing business report of the country. Next slide, please. In terms of timeline, we started way back in 2009 with the initiation of this project. The company got incorporated in 2013. The first notification was issued by TAMP in 2014, and we started our operations at JNPT in 2016. In a time of 4 years, we were able to cover each and every single port of the country wherever the EXIM container is being handled. So in November 2020, we achieved 100% coverage on all the ports wherever the EXIM container is being handled. Next, please. In terms of operational flow, once the ship arrives at the port, our system is integrated with the terminal operating system. So we fetch the data about the port in from the terminal operating system. Once it moves out of the port, then we put up a RFID tag onto every single container moving out of the port. Our KPI is 100%. So every single container which is moving out of the port has to be necessarily tagged by our people. So you can see in the demonstration below, that is the RFID reader in figure 1, and RFID reader before tagging is being mapped through the use of a handheld device, and it is then placed onto the container. Before putting it on the container, we just map the container number with the tag unique ID, and then it is placed. Once it is placed, then during the journey, if the road journey is happening, then we definitely track that particular container by way of our RFID readers, which are installed at different toll plazas. And once it reaches, and if it is moving through the train, then we don't tag the containers, but we are getting the information from the voice system of the railways, and we are able to provide complete visibility about near to real time. Similarly, for the export journey, the same thing happens. It moves, we again map it, and from CFS and ICD, it reaches out to the port, and from there, moving forward. We also have integrated our systems with the naval systems. So till the port of first call, we are in a position to give you the information regarding the movement of the container, even the container is in high seas. Next, please. Can you just switch off some lights? It's creating a reflection on the screen. In terms of LDB coverage, as I mentioned earlier, we have covered 17 ports in the country, which is handling the EXIM traffic coverage of around 27 terminals. 60 plus toll plazas has already been covered. 170 plus CFS, ICD, and MTRs have been covered. 9 special economic zones, 3 border integrated checkposts. The EDI interface has also been developed with voice and PCS system. More than 1750 RFID readers have been installed, and my target is to install another 1100 readers by 31st July 2022. 46 million containers have been tracked till date, and this number is increasing as we speak. Next, please. In terms of CFS and ICD coverage, out of the total 128 CFSs, we have our RFID readers at 123 locations. More than 114 CFSs are sharing their daily inventory data with regard to the empty containers as well as the laden containers at a 24-hourly duration. Similarly, for ICDs, 105 ICDs, 22 has been covered through RFID readers. And the plan which I am having till 31st July, we will be in a position to cover 100% of the ICDs probably by 31st July. 70 ICDs are already sharing their daily inventory data. This exercise we have extended in the past 6 months because Ministry of Shipping has requested us to give them the visibility about the availability of empty containers geography-wise in the nook and corner of the country. So we have increased our presence on CFS and ICDs and prioritized this activity in the past 6 months. And we are attacking similarly in the next slide. I'll show you the empty yards. We are attacking the empty yards also because that was a kind of a black box for us. And there was no regulation which can regulate, or any order of the government which can regulate the empty yards, is predominantly being managed by the shipping lines, owned, operated, and managed. And there is no law or the regulation within the government guidelines which can help us in issuing a government notification for getting data from empty yards. So we created our own teams and did the survey of 200 plus empty yards, out of which 160 major yards has already been surveyed, geotagged, and we will be in a position to provide our RFID readers at these empty yards by 31st July, which will cover nearly 80% of the container traffic. And once this is done, then we will focus on the balance 20%. Next, please. In terms of LDB service portfolio, what we do is we collect data, we generate the information, analyze it, and provide specific information based on the request of the stakeholder. The basic search service is free of cost, available on ldb.co.in. You can just log in onto our website and put the 11-digit container number and press search. Then you will be able to get the information with regard to the last known location and the complete log of the container once it is moving out of the port. In terms of analytical service, we are providing some analytical services specifically to different stakeholders. For example, we are doing separate interface service for Maersk. We are doing it for DP World, we are doing it for other port terminals also, whereby they are trying to get information to make the systems, their processes much more better. So basis their data only, we are trying to give them a lot of analysis, and this service definitely is a paid service. And this data is then converting into information, and which is further providing business intelligence. Next, please. ULIP. I'm now coming to the second part of the presentation, which is the Unified Logistic Interface Platform. As my fellow colleague, Mr. Ichiro Oshima, just mentioned, that Niti Aayog has been given the mandate by the Honorable Prime Minister to come out with some technology common elements to have India leapfrog in the post-COVID world. And these technology common elements were in the sphere of education, agriculture, logistics, and healthcare, etc., etc. So in the logistic space, the mandate was given to us that whatever work we have done in the past 6-7 years under the LDB project, that amount of work can be put to leverage, and that amount of work can be leveraged to build the next layer of the ULIP. So in January 2021, we got this official mandate to leverage the LDB project and to develop it as a unified logistics interface platform with an objective of integrating the data available with individual ministries, data exchanges with the private players, and to create over a period of time the unified document system whereby, irrespective of the mode of the transportation, we should be in a position to track and trace, to identify, and to know the whereabouts of the containers as well as the cargo. Next slide, please. This year, Honorable Finance Minister in her budget speech has also mentioned about the ULIP, whereby she has stated that all modes of operator shall be brought under one interface through the development of an API. It will ensure the effective movement of goods, reducing the logistic cost and time. This is also ensure just-in-time inventory management and reduction in the logistic cost and reduction in the documentation part of it. In provision of the real-time information, and will make India cost competitive, internationally competitive, whereby our export should increase and an import dependency should reduce. And the platform will be an open source technology stack. So this is what has been announced this year in the budget speech. Next slide, please. In terms of phasing strategy, because the overall vision and the requirement of the ULIP is quite high, so we have divided it into two basic parts, two basic phases. Phase one, it's already done, whereby we have created a logistic gateway by integrating the information available in the different government systems. And second is to provide the multimodal coverage of seamless track and trace irrespective of the mode of transport. In phase two, we will be working on development of a unified system for documentation and compliance, so that the multiplicity of the documents, etc., should get sorted out. So something like creation of an Aadhaar number or unique ID number for the particular cargo, and at the back end, every single department may have their own document. But for the end customer, it can be only one single page or 2 page at the max document, which will help in doing all the transactions moving forward. And also in the phase 2, our objective is to encourage the private sector by leveraging the platform which we have developed for the purpose of creating a lot of gateways. Next, please. That will get clear more by this particular slide. So above particular box is the different systems of various ministries: railways, voice system, PCS, terminal operating system, and LLP marine of shipping. Civil aviation, you have air cargo, you have a different system for Bombay, Delhi, you have different system for Bangalore and Hyderabad, you have different system for 26 airports, which is being managed and run by I-Class. NPCI's FASTag, which everyone is aware about, GST and e-way bill, Morth, Vahan and Sarthi, Customs, IceGate, DGFT, IC, and our own LDB system. So just to give you a perspective, even of the same system, for example, if I take an example of civil aviation. So 3 systems are working within Civil Aviation Ministry, and all these 3 systems are not talking to each other. Similarly, Morth, Vahan Sarthi, and again NPCI's FASTag, these are all systems which are managed, controlled by Ministry of Road Transport. These 3 systems also don't talk to each other. So what we have done is we have created the UPI of the logistics sector. So eventually what will happen, maybe 2 years or 3 years down the line, every single logistic transaction in the country will get authenticated through the ULIP gateway. And we are inviting and we are promoting the private sector players to develop the app layer, the application layer, or the presentation layer, whereby just like in the payment gateway scenario, Phone Pay, Bharat Pay, Google Pay, Airtel Pay has come in. So the presentation layer or the app layer can be developed by the private sector, and the consumer is free to use with whatever app layer they want to create. But for the purpose of authenticating the transaction, the backup layer is the same, which is the UPI. So that's why I was saying that we have in a way created the UPI of the logistics sector. Clear? And the entire system works on the request response based mechanism, whereby we don't store the dump data of any single ministry or any single system. We only store the transaction data. So if any request has come onto my system for authentication, and that system is getting authenticated using the API developed with Vahan or Sarthi or IceGate, then that transaction data, transaction log will get stored into my system. Otherwise, I don't store the dump data of all the vehicles available under Vahan or all the drivers registered under Sarthi. We understand that this data will be of immense utilization for government agencies, manufacturing companies, ports, startups, CHAs, 3PL, 4PL players, transporters, warehousing companies, and all the stakeholders present today. And data application can be in multiple forms for the purpose of authentication, process optimization, track and trace, digitization, automation, discovery services, etc. Next, please. So government has mandated us to create the first 2 layers, which is integration layer, governance layer. And that is what we are working right now. And we have already created the integration layer and the governance layer. But the 3rd layer, which is the presentation layer, that is left to the private sector to leverage on. So we are provoking, we are inviting a lot of private sector players, the startup community, etc., to create these use cases, to create the presentation layer, and to leverage the governance and the integration layer, which has already been created. Next, please. In terms of work which has already been done so far with the support and cooperation of the inter-ministerial coordination, I will just take a step back and tell you that ULIP is basically the softer intervention of PM Gati Shakti. So PM Gati Shakti was also done as part of this organization only. We created the National Master Plan for providing multimodal connectivity to various economic zones. So the PM Gati Shakti was majorly focusing on augmentation of the physical infrastructure to the centers of growth, to the economic areas, wherever any value-added service is getting performed. So ULIP is also PM Gati Shakti 2.0, you can say, whereby we are targeting to integrate, augment the softer part of it in terms of systems, in terms of processes, so that everything comes into the same silo. The objective is the same, that different ministries, different departments of the government of India or the state government are working in silos, put them together, break the silos, and let everybody work through an integrated, unified approach. Synchronization of efforts should come in. So that is the whole objective with which PM Gati Shakti was conceptualized, and the same objective with which ULIP has been formed. So the green boxes which you see in this particular slide, all these systems has been integrated as we are speaking today. The APIs have been developed, the testing has been done, the production servers have been commissioned, everything has been done. There are two systems which is under preparation right now, which is NLP Marine, which is being done by Indian Port Association, and another system of Inland Waterway Authority of India, which is also under development. We are working very closely with IWAI. Probably by April end, we will be in a position to put that also into green. The only thing which is pending so far is e-way bill. In fact, I have to delay the meeting of 4 p.m. only because of this. I was in the finance ministry to discuss the integration of e-way bill only, and hopefully this also will get cracked very soon. Next, please. In terms of the work done, what we have done under the ULIP platform is that we have taken across 24 different systems covering 1454 fields by way of developing 78 APIs. So this is the quantum of the work which has been taken care of in the last 11-12 months. And we are very happy to say that with the support and cooperation of all the ministries, there was quite reluctant to share the data initially. But as we progressed, as we be able to convince them, they were very supportive. And with their support, we have actually developed these 78 APIs. And every single field we know, these 1454 fields, we know the entire breakup of every single field. Just to give you an example, if I talk about ice gate system of the customs, in ice gate systems, we have already integrated these 10 fields. But there are 9 more fields which are under development by the customs. So once these 9 fields will get developed, I will integrate that also, and total 19 will come up. The fields which are not being captured are 14, and the fields which don't exist into the system of customs is 2. So every single system has this kind of a slide whereby I am doing one-on-one marking of the number of messages which are getting exchanged between my system and their system. Next slide, please. In terms of governance, it is a request response based system, which I explained it earlier. We are not storing any dump data of any ministry. We are just storing the transaction data for the future analytics purposes. We are not sharing any personalized identified information. So anything which is falling under the category of PII, that was not going to be shared. And the entire system and the platform has been developed on the node guidelines of the MATI. The sharing of the information and the APIs will be done through a secured method, which will be defined by the concerned ministry. Next, please. In terms of timeline, we are bang on time. Everything in the green has already been achieved. Right now, we are running a ULIP hackathon with the support of Niti Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission. We are encouraging the startup community to come and build more and more use cases and the presentation layer, so that the platform which has been created can be leveraged to the advantage of the trade. The only thing which is pending to be done is e-way bill, and I'm hopeful that the way we are progressing with the discussions, this also will be done very soon. And we are targeting that phase 1 of ULIP can go live by April of 2022. So in terms of the presentation layer use cases, we are adopting a 3-pronged strategy, whereby initially we are promoting the private players by way of signing the non-disclosure agreement, so that they can develop their use case which is suitable to them or which can be provided to the ultimate end customers. The second is we are promoting this logistics hackathon with Niti Aayog, whereby we are inviting a lot of ideations. We received more than 500 plus entries, out of which we have shortlisted 28. And these 28 entries are being taken forward from ideation stage to the prototype stage. And we will be funding the first 3 winners of this hackathon. We are also developed the in-house app. For example, in case of UPI, government has developed the Bheem app on their own just to establish the credibility of the system. So similarly, we have already developed in-house these 5 apps of Know Your Transporter, Track Your Transport, LDB 2.0, Empty Carrier Discovery, and Empty Container Discovery, which will definitely establish. We have not put these apps in the market right now, but definitely we are ready to put that up once ULIP goes live. So this is the quantum of the work which has taken place so far. And because ultimate proof of the pudding is in eating, so my request is that all the members whomsoever we are contacting today and through FFFAI, if we can take this project to the next level of implementation, whereby with your support and cooperation, we are able to actually show the advantages of this whole platform for the benefit of the trade, it will be more than happy to share. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for a wonderful presentation and enlightening on the future of logistics going digital. And that is a need of an hour for the future going global. So with this, I would like to open the floor. If there is no other presentations from your side, sir, we can open up the floor with a permission for any inputs or the question answers across the webinar. Is it okay, sir?
Sure. I think means you can coordinate at your end. The people
Sure.
who wants to ask
So
can
I
one
can
by one
see-
raise hand.
Sure, I can see Mr. Darshan Garad raising hand, but before that, any of the panelists would like to give the any inputs or give any suggestions, I would like to open up, because then, you know, most of the questions would be answered over here. So we do not need to go beyond that purview. So we have the panelists, our vice chairmen over here, our chairman, immediate past chairman, Mr. Vijay Kumar sir also here. So from the panelists, if any of us would like to have the inputs, yeah, Mr. Vijay Kumar sir.
Thank you, Shankar. I have one question. This thing you are talking about all the ministries, all the data will integrate within your system. And when is that the date of implementation of this system? And the second point you are talking about the port related.
Sorry, I didn't get your question clearly. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, this you got that mandate from the government for the integrated all the data. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah, in the presentation you made all the ports, the railways, road transport, and customs. That customs data also including the ICES system. Am I right?
Yes.
So in this, how we can, as a user, we can use this facility?
We will open this platform for the using of every single person in a very near future. We are just waiting for an official launch by the Honorable Prime Minister.
Okay,
Once it is officially launched, it will be, you will be having a web portal whereby you can go and start using the data.
Okay, what is the procedure we have to follow for that? You have to download the app and you have to enter, or what is that?
It can be direct visit to the website, or it can be app-based access also.
All right. So the customs, so what are all this data you are mentioning for that? Because we mainly, our membership is basically the custom brokers and freight forwarders. We are in the cross-border transaction mainly for that. So what stage we can involve from the load port to discharge port and to up to the customer warehouse? Can we track this and we can interact with this system?
I have shown you because I know that you people are basically interested in having the access to the custom data. So I have shown you a slide on the integration with the ICE gate, whereby 10 messages or 10 fields has already been integrated. So out of those 10 messages, whatever information you want, that can be made available to all the members. But anything which is beyond those 10 fields, I think that will be difficult for us. But if you need anything specific, that we can request the customs to share with us.
Why I ask this question is because we are talking about the ultimate aim is to reduce the logistics cost and the time and dwell time. Am I right? For that, this is the very, very important data information is required for. I'm not asking you any secret data or messages to provide, because customs, we don't want to access any data like that. But for the process of the documentation and the faster clearance, see all the fields what you have mentioned, it is required for us to start. That's my concern for that. That's what I want to share. I mean, ask you for that. When it will be ready with that, the entire activities of customs cross-border transaction, whether it is an import or export. So you mentioned about limited data is only accessible to this.
Right now, our focus was to create a pipeline whereby our systems can directly fetch the data from the ICE gate system. As far as the process and the documentation is concerned, that will be taken care of in the phase 2 of the project. Right now, I am not saying that ULIP will go away or will take away the processes which is being followed by the customer for the purpose of clearance, etc. You have seen in the phase 2, in one of my slides, I have clearly mentioned that in phase 2 of the ULIP project, I'll be taking care of the single documentation system or a unified documentation system and the clearances. Right now, we are not providing any single documentation or the clearance services. It is only the integration of the data from the different ministries.
I agree with you. I am not going to that for the second part of it about the shipping lines or airline, whatever it is. The other part of that customs for that the delivery order from the shipping line, the same way from the airline. Then once it is cleared, it is that e-way bill and all this thing. These data and all this thing we can access. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you. I mean, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Any
You
other
want to
office
add
bearers?
something? Yeah.
Mr. Abhishek ji, in fact, while going to the slides, we could see all the slides with the integrating of interministerial data also. But one thing, the Ministry of Finance, which you also mentioned about the IceGate. IceGate is in the public domain. We already have access to this IceGate public information. But we are looking beyond that. Like, ICS is one system, which the custom is one operating on their internal systems. And IceGate is a public forum where the users are being allowed to integrate with this. Future will also have the SCMTR systems, which will have the details. I don't know whether NLP would be taking up that platform to integrate with the SCMTR. But now what happens, like we are talking about the dwell time and everything, whether this you will be able to give that position as to how many documents all India has been submitted and how many are pending under clearance and within how much time they have been cleared from the customs also. And even that stage has been covered under your system on. Even that is one point of.
As of now, it is not yet covered, but over a period of time, I think we will be able to cover that up.
Because major of our members would be interested in that type of data, because then it will really show the how much is the dwell time or the what is really required to advise. Because we are going under faceless, we are going under various initiatives of IT implementation, but we also need to have somewhere where it is accessible that okay, yes, whether it is useful, whether it is not useful, or how can we use such type of data.
As far as the exim container concerned, we are already publishing our LDB analytics report, whereby we are giving information with regard to the dwell time, the congestion analysis, port wise we are giving, we are also ranking them, etc. But in terms of the documentation which is pending at the end of the customs, the overall picture which you are talking about, that itself is right now not available. But in future, as we move forward with the implementation and actual grounding of the ULIP, I think that the information which we will collect, will be able to give that information to you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think so. There are some questions in the question answer box also.
Yes, I'm reading them. You
Yeah.
are saying, can you explain about the data governance? The first question from Mr. Ranjit Kumar Nair. The data governance, as I explained, we are not storing the data of any single ministry. We have executed the non-disclosure agreement with every single ministry before taking up the data. It works on a request come response based system. So only the transaction log of the data gets stored into our system. The entire server, etc., is hosted on the NIC, which is a government owned. The entire system has been audited by a third party, and the data is completely secured. So we had multiple checks while designing the system and getting it audited to a third party, so that there is no leakage of the data. And we are bound by the terms and conditions of the non-disclosure agreement just to provide protect the sanctity of the data. The second question is from Mr. Shrikant. Will the private platform operators who could not participate in the hackathon also get access to API? Yes, the answer is yes. And we are also working on some kind of a basic commercial models, whereby what all should be the rules and terms and condition of sharing those APIs will be, that we are working right now. We have created the platform, but we have not developed the commercial aspect out of it, because the mandate from the government was to develop it first and then to think about how to make it self-sustainable. The third question is from Mr. Pratibhan Raj, where when it be going to be implemented? We are just waiting for an official launch date. Once we get it, we will be in a position to put it live. We are ready from our side. And the only feedback, Honorable Prime Minister has conducted a PM Gati Shakti webinar very recently, whereby the feedback from the industry was to interact with as many associations as it can be, So there are, I think, 70 associations which my teams have identified, out of which I think 27, 28 associations are present today. So we are just taking the feedback from every association, as you rightly pointed out, that there is a requirement of having a macro view about the custom clearances, etc. And your colleague has mentioned about some other things which we will take care maybe in the phase 2 of the project. So that is how we are taking it forward. I am just now reading the chat box. Kindly provide steps in accessing the API gateway details. So at present, you can get in touch with my team. Ashish Sonbarse will be the point in contact. We will share in the chat box the contact details of Mr. Ashish, the mobile number and the email ID. So whatever details you want, you can share your query with him and we will come back to you. And once it is officially launched, we will put up a complete SOP document over the website, whereby all steps will be mentioned, that what exactly has to be done for the purpose of registration and how to access the API. The second is, whom do we connect to evaluate the product and its usage? I answered it. Mr. Ashish will be the point in contact for all the members, and they can get in touch with Mr. Ashish for any query in this regard. Can you explain about the data governance? I have already done that. Is it a platform where importers and exporters can meet their logistic needs from their desk without needing for any agent? This is a very good point, I will say. Yes, I will definitely dream of and see that ULIP should come up as a logistic platform in such a manner that not only I want to take the business of the agents, but I'm saying the agents should be in a position to leverage and give better services to their end customers, because the way the trade is being functioning, I'm not there to take off the trade from anyone. The whole objective is to ensure more visibility and transparency into the system so that the information sharing is happening in the most easy manner. Should we get a test phase in this integration? Yes, in the test phase, you can get it right now itself. And Ashish will be in a position to give you the details. I can see Ashish putting his email ID. Ashish, you can also share your mobile number so that everybody can get in touch with you. Do we have a sandbox set up for the new system? Do we have that?
Yeah,
we do have that. I'm not a technical person. I was just referring to my technical colleague. He is confirming that we do have a sandbox set up for the new system. So is there anything else? You can go back to question and answers if there is anything which is added further.
In fact, I think so most of the questions which has been posted has been answered, sir.
One is left. I think Mr. Darshan Gharat has just raised. Can you brief us the private sector payment involvement? Payment involvement means do private sector need to pay us? That is what you are asking, I am supposed. So that's what I told, that we have not yet come out with any clear payment or a commercial model, that what will be the payment arrangement or a commercial arrangement for sharing the APIs and the data. We are still working on it, but let me assure you, the way we have done in the LDB project, we are just charging 165 rupees as the mandatory user charge per container. The payment will be very minuscule and it will not be any additional burden onto the trade. And just the collection of the payment is absolutely required so that the system can run on its own and become self-sustainable over a period of time. But right now, I don't have a number to share with you that what will be the payment mechanism and how much will be charging. So I think I've covered all the questions.
Mr. Malhotra, our Delhi president, Noida president, Mr. Mehrotra, you would like to say something? Mr. Mehrotra? Was raised hand? No, we can't get in.
Not come.
Mr. Mehrotra, okay, we can't get in. So anyway, we will surely keep on discussion and in communication with ULIP with regard to this implementation of our requirements, and that will surely make us benefit for our members and for the portal to develop in the way that it will be helpful to our industry. Once again, I would like to thank you for addressing all the questions and answers on this forum, and look forward for a long-term association with you with regard to taking it forward. I would now request, if there is nothing, if you would like to close, if there is no question and answers, I would request Mr. Natarajaji to give the vote of thanks. Yeah, Mr. Natarajaji.
Thank you. Thank you, Ji. First of all, my thanks to all the participants in large. Our chairman, Mr. Shankar Shinte, immediate part chairman, Mr. Vijay Kumar, and chairman like Mr. Dushyant Mulani, and my colleagues of FFI and fellow members. Our special thanks to ISRO, Mr. Oshima and Abhishek Chaudhary for their elaborate PowerPoint presentation. Cost-effective transaction will help to EXIM trade to compete their products in international market. The PowerPoint presentation clearly shows the flow of the EXIM cargo, and the trade can easily identify the bottlenecks and can remove the bottlenecks for ease of doing business in order to eliminate the hidden cost for cost-effective transaction. The PPT is very helpful to understand the transparent transaction. Sure, once the data implemented, it will be helpful to EXIM trade. With this, I thank one and all for their participation and the wonderful meeting today arranged by our FFI. Special thanks to our FFI chairman, Mr. Shankar Shinde. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we will surely look forward to sharing the presentation to all our members for their detailing. And if there is something observation, we will come. We'll surely come. Thank you, sir.
Sure, we will share the copy of the presentation immediately after this meeting. And I personally thank Mr. Shinde and all the members, Mr. Vijay Kumar, and all the members for attending this. And we definitely look forward for working in collaboration with the FFI and take this forward to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.